What's up, everybody? Starting a little later than usual today. But that's alright, nobody watches Destiny 2 anymore anyway. I mean, I sure picked a friggin' great time to start playing this game, huh? What's up, everybody? Hey man, what's going on? How you been? Long time no see. Oh yeah, I haven't seen any notifications come up. I wonder if I don't have them turned on. I've been looking for your channel from time to time and nothing ever happened. Yeah, my week's been good. It's been, you know, busy. But then again, hasn't everybody's? How's life up there in Canada? Oh yeah, finally getting summer. Or spring, I guess that would be. Nice. That's when all the chicks bring out their bikinis. Love that time of year.
All right, Dip. What's next?
Helping me spread the word. We're broadcasting a signal from the farm to people who fled the city saying, you'll be safe here.
And we need to make sure everyone, everywhere, can hear it.
Place a few signal amplifiers around the area to boost the signal. That should do the trick.
Yeah, they've been coming out pretty hot and heavy with those things, hey? Gotta wonder if it's not in response to that Facebook fiasco.
That's one node online.
Looks like the signal's already amped. That was fast.
Hang on a minute. I just spotted quite a few Fallen headed your way. Keep your guard up.
They really fucked up everyone's platform with that little adventure.
Eliminating that captain under the church must have drawn the rest of the Fallen out.
They won't stop coming.
Rightfully so,
Make sure
man.
that
I
signal
mean,
is strong.
Facebook really fucked with
that
a lot of
second
people's personal information. I mean, I haven't used Facebook in probably 10 years, so it's like whatever, but
This place
it's pretty scary to think.
This is the first time I've even seen any Fallen since the Cabal.
Not that
hit.
people would do that, but that just...
You
You'd
all
think
tried
there'd be
to
more
make
of an
it so
outrage
everyone
over it,
with eyes
and
on
people are
each
just
other.
like, oh, that's crazy.
Keep us
Oh
safe,
well.
right? There's another word for a place you're
Like,
not allowed
fucking
to
kidding
be.
me? Like,
You know,
there's a company collecting for who knows what reason that you'd want.
Acting like they own this place.
Take down that servitor and they
Like,
start.
not even the police or the government can collect that kind of information.
Come and go whenever you want. So let's make sure everyone can get there.
Really, I never read that. What was the lowdown on that? Yeah, like, people don't fucking learn their lesson, man. They're like, oh hey, they stole all their stuff and sold it for God knows what, but I'm gonna get back on Facebook. I really want to be a part of that whole invasion of my life. The fact that they made any money, whether it be, you know, $5 billion or $5, is absolutely unreal.
We finished off that servitor.
They were counting on those supplies. Well done.
Okay. Now, Mark Zuckerberg is a really fucked up guy.
I read the boosted signal, and some kind of strange feedback.
Redefining communism. Yeah, more like redefining communism.
I'd wager they have some kind of jamming devices nearby.
There's an entrance somewhere. Oh, there it is. Alt-right. I love the terms that people use to kind of subtly belittle anyone that doesn't agree with their political point of view. Like, you know, people who are like, hey, you know what, the September 11th thing was suspicious as fuck. And they're like, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. I mean, that just... You know what, the Muslims are blowing us up. Maybe we need to rethink this. Oh, you're an Islamophobe. You're just like, well, hold on, like... It's just to ask a question, regardless of what the point of view is. It's not like something to be labeled and shut down. And that's what all these words do, regardless of what they are. Is they just shut down any kind of discourse between opposing points of view.
There. I've got a clear signal. No more feedback.
5 by 5 here as well. Excellent work.
It's nice to have a guardian helping us normals for a change. But there's one more thing. Did I send those coordinates correctly?
I've got them. Through the tunnel, across the river.
That's the place. I left something behind there.
Shit just drives me crazy. I don't know about you, but personally, I like to ask questions about everything. Yeah, millennials versus, and you know, it's all divisive, right? All of it, regardless of your point of view. I mean, I lean to the right more than anything about most things. Some things I'm left on, but everything, regardless of your point of view, all the labels, all the discourse nowadays is just designed to divide everybody. I mean, it's in everything. Every single fucking thing, like... It blows my mind that not only that they do it, but that it's so effective. You're never gonna present a unified front against people who are doing what I would consider true evil if you're always doing infighting. And I mean, that's absolutely their goal. We fight each other with over, like, the stupidest thing, like, oh, gender pronouns and things like this. And you're like, motherfucker, these don't matter. Like, you don't need to be a special snowflake just because you want to be, right? Like, just shut up and let's all work to take down the people who are literally fucking us at every turn and getting rich off us fighting each other. Well, that's an effective tactic, right? It's one they use in waging war and... No shit. Good for her. I don't even have fucking one. Does she need 4 degrees? Yeah, God forbid that you are too smart. That would be a problem. Need 4 degrees. But you know what? People who can't do shit love to tell other people that they shouldn't do shit either, right? Like, that's just the way people go. You know, when I was applying for a job in my field, people are like, oh, you realize it's super hard to get into. Okay, like, number one, so fucking what? Anything worth doing isn't really gonna be easy to do. And number two, maybe it was hard for you, because you're, you know, like, yeah, people criticize anything. Whether people are, oh, you know what? It's amazing because people will be like, oh, you know what, loser, go to school, get a job, and blah, blah, blah. And so, you know, this chick literally goes to school 4 fucking times. And they're like, you're just wasting time now. What have you done with your life that's so important? You went out there and cured cancer? No, shut the fuck up. Man, that shit fucking blows my mind. It's just unreal.
We're almost to your coordinates, Hawthorne.
Good. I left supplies there that I had to abandon in a hurry a while back.
Supplies for the farm?
For the city. But when you all got attacked, I dropped everything and flew across the ocean to try and help. The city sure doesn't need it anymore. We could use that stuff at the farm.
Incels. I haven't heard that term. Wonder what does that apply to?
Bad news, Hawthorne. The Fallen beat us here.
All right, forget the supplies. Clear out those Fallen, and we'll figure out our next move.
The area's clear.
Not for long. The Fallen don't like it when they're denied a good scavenge. They're bound to come at you in force.
And do me another favor, you two. Drop another one of those node things to boost my signal, then get out of there.
Heard about that. Oh, give me a fucking break, really? No, man, I mean, you know what? Some of the ugliest guys I know who are just like, you know, they're out of shape, they're, you know, but how they carry, like, they do better with women than I've ever done. Like, it's just an excuse, you know. It's an excuse, and that's all everything is nowadays. It's an excuse for why, rather than being like, you know what, I'm no good with women. Maybe I need to fucking learn how to talk to women. It's like, oh, well, I'm genetically disadvantaged because fucking this, and that's why. No, motherfucker, you don't need a goddamn excuse. Like, just fucking grow up. You know, I think part of the reason is, and this is my personal theory, is, you know, when I was growing up, my parents were like, yeah, you know, if you do something good, we'll tell you did something good. But if you're just like, if you just are average, you're just fucking average. You don't have to be the best at everything. You're not special. Yeah, victimology, exactly. My dad had this saying, and I didn't understand it till I was a little bit older, but he said, don't forget that you're special, just like everybody else. And, yeah, you know, that's the whole thing, is you teach people that they're fucking special their whole lives and that they're the smartest and the greatest. And, you know, people do that probably because they love their kids and they don't want to hurt their feelings. But you give them unreal expectations, and when they become adults, they get out in the real world, they're like, oh, wait a minute. I'm not getting all the praise for, you know, fucking wiping my ass that I used to get. What's going on here? And I think that that really fucks with their state of mind. And it leads to crap like this. Like,
You made them mad. You're doing something right. Don't let up.
We did it. They're gone.
You Guardians really are something else. I guess I kind of forgot that.
And now we know that there are resources to be found in the EDZ. Once we retake the city, that'll be...
you know, I remember when I was a kid, I got an award in school for...
Head back here when you
it was
can,
like a running
There's still quite a bit
thing, and it was just, I don't know, it was like a kids' Olympics at school kind of thing. It wasn't anything fucking special. But it was the first time in my life that I got an award for participation. It was just this cheesy little ribbon kind of thing with a button on it, you know. And I remember, God, this must have been grade 2 or 3, and I remember looking at this thing and being completely fucking confused because I wasn't in like the top 3. I didn't fucking win anything. So I didn't understand it as a kid. It didn't make fucking sense to me. I was like, what is this? And it never sat right with me, to the point that even nowadays I still fucking remember that exact moment and getting it and remember that feeling. But now everybody gets something just for showing up. Like, I heard of a birthday party where they gave gifts to everybody who came, not just the fucking kid whose birthday it was. I was just like, this is fucking bonkers. Like, well, we don't want anybody to feel left out. Motherfucker, what? Yeah, you know what? Is it called Twitch? Because Twitch is pretty much online sex now. I mean, fucking go and look at the most popular channels, the ones with like 34,000 viewers at a time. They're all chicks, and they're all not ugly chicks. And yeah, they're paying for that kind of stuff. But you do see what were they called? I don't know, like the animatronic sex dolls and stuff that are coming out. And I mean, real talk, I went to the site of one of these companies that produces these things, and I just had a look. And I was like, yeah, I mean, you know, I can see why people go that route, because women are, I think women are a marketplace, and their entitlement to everything is really fucked, and I think they're like diming themselves out of the market. Yeah, I think in a lot of ways. I mean, guys aren't guys really in a lot of cases anymore either. They're kind of, they've lost their manliness, which hasn't done them any favors either. But my relationship is horrible. Yeah. And cheating. I mean, cheating on each other seems to be fucking rampant, man. Like, my buddy he still works, I guess, so he works in the oil field, and he would go for a week and then he'd be back for a week, and he earned pretty good fucking money doing that, like, no lie. And he had 3 kids and was taking, like, he took care of his family. He was a decent guy, you know, he loved his wife a lot. What does she do? She fucks around on him while he's gone for those weeks, and when he catches her out on it, her excuse is, "Oh, I'm lonely." But you think he's not lonely up there working to pay for your ass? She didn't have a job. She just sat at home taking care of the kids, which I know people are like, "Oh, it's so difficult." It's an important job. Being a mother is a super important job. One of, if not the most important job. But is it fucking hard? No. Your job is to get up and cook a couple of meals and then play hide and seek. Like, there was a comedian who said any job you can do in your pajamas is not a fucking job at all. And I mean, that's being a mother, right? Like, I'd love to be a stay-at-home fucking mother. Yeah, and you know, so they just, oh, I'm fucking lonely and blah, blah, blah. Fuck. Shit, it makes me fucking sick to my stomach, dude. And, you know, I love my buddy. He's an awesome dude, but I had to look at him and be like, you know what, like, I think your problem was you were too nice to your wife, because it was clear from the times, and I didn't meet her a whole bunch. I mean, I knew her, and I had conversations with her and stuff, but it wasn't like we're best friends. But even from the brief encounters I'd had with her, it was obvious that she didn't respect him. Like, at all. And that's the thing, when you're a beta man, is your wife will be with you, she'll pop out a couple of your kids, but eventually that's all it's going to be, because she's never going to have any respect for you, and that'll be the end of your relationship. Men gotta be fucking men, and not just in physical appearance like gym bros, but yeah, you look at guys from the 1940s, and you know, there was a lot of things fucked up about the 1940s, but one thing you can't argue is that men were fucking men back then, and women were women, and things worked amazing. My grandfather went to war in World War II. He met my grandmother the day before he left for the war.
never let me live it down.
And they got married, and they were married for fucking 60 years or something outrageous. Like,
Yeah. Keep talking, old man.
like things worked back then, and now people get married and it lasts like a year, 2 years. Like, I think the average marriage now lasts something like 6 years. It's fucking, like, it's unreal. Yeah, literally the day before they got married. Like, he met her, got married.
Between the Guardians and the Cabal, they've buried a lot.
And that's it. Like, right before he left. And it's like, it's not an unusual story. Stuff like that was pretty common because people are like, well, I'm going to war, I'm probably going to be dead. Like, fuck it, right? And, I mean, maybe it's because going to war changes people and makes them see kind of the important shit in life, but I gotta believe that it was more than that, because even at the start of that war, there were people clamoring to go and fight for their country, and it was a vicious, brutal war, and they all fucking knew it. But it wasn't even a question. There were 16-year-olds who would lie on their application forms and say they were 18 just to go fight in the war.
Scavengers of the highest order. They're going to put up a fight for whatever they can
More
get their
options.
grubby claws on.
Yeah, you know what? That's a really good point. We do have like the illusion of choice, and I think, yeah, no, that's a good point. I think that is a completely internet byproduct, now that you mention it. I watched my buddy do Tinder dating, and I mean, I don't think he's actually doing Tinder, I think he's doing some Plenty of Fish site or something like that, I don't know. But I'll look at his messages and stuff, because he'll get me to look at him and be like, what do you think of this? And he writes some seriously, like, decent introductions to these chicks. Like, you know, hey, this is who I am, this is what I'm about, this, that, and the other thing. And he never gets a reply from fucking any of them. And you know what? You're probably spot on with why, is that it's fucking too many options, right? It's just... bitches are like, oh, well, you know, I like a guy who is unemployed, lives with his mom, doesn't have a job, and this guy clearly has his shit together, doesn't have any tattoos anywhere on his face. He's not the guy for me. And then they're like, oh, I can't believe my boyfriend cheated on me, and blah. And you know what? I'm sure it's all just way too much fucking choice. That's good. Think we're headed for World War III? Yeah, no, they absolutely don't want to serve their country, and I think that's
You'll be pleased to
just
know that I can see the
selfishness,
Fallen fleeing
right?
in mine. Seems you've
I don't
really
want
hornet's
to
nest,
do
haven't
anything
you?
because this might be the result for me. And you're like, okay, and I mean, whatever happened to the greater good? I think they said it really well in the shitty movie Speed, where he goes, we've gone from, I regret I've got one life to give to my country, to fuck you, give me money, or something like that. Yeah, and I'm just like, you know, that's incredibly insightful for a Keanu Reeves movie.
We found an elevator.
You're good. Almost as good as Lewis.
Elevator's not working. Power must be out. And we've upset the Fallen.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think war is always inevitable. I think war is in our nature. And I know that we're supposed to be better than that and overcoming our baser instincts, but cooler heads don't always prevail, and especially in a day and age where the media is completely biased. All the information you get is at best half true. I mean, anybody nowadays who claims that they actually know what's going on in the world is a lying asshole. I try to see what I see and interpret the information that comes in through, you know, critical thought. And I don't think I'm a dumbass, but I don't have a fucking clue what's going on with things. Because who knows where the truth lies. And if you ever work in a law enforcement field, one of the things that you'll always learn is there's three sides to every story. His, hers, and the truth. It's no different with the media. I mean, who knows? Is Kim Jong-un, is he as bad as they say he is? Probably.
That did it. Killing the servitor brought the power back on.
But is there going to be more to that story too? Fucking absolutely. And then you add into the fact that it's also about perspective, right? Nobody in history has ever thought of themselves as the bad guy. Fucking ever. You're always the good guy, and the other guy's the bad guy, depending on your point of view. The Nazis were the good guys, the Americans were the bad guys. In their eyes. And so, yeah, we're looking at these things, we're like, wow, you know, if we have to blow up North Korea, well, that's fucking righteous, man, and that's what we gotta do, and that's our right to defend ourselves, and they're the enemy, and blah-de-blah-de-blah. And I'm just like, well, okay, yeah, but they don't see us any different than we see them. So, and I mean, I'm not justifying Kim Jong-un and his insane, Jesus fucking English, his insane behavior. I mean, threatening to nuke everybody all the time, that's not what a normal person does, but it's an interesting thought process when you look at the different perspectives that people take on subjects of war and right and wrong.
Then hurry up with that booster. Let's finish hooking up the comm network. And, thanks for the help. You're not so bad for a fancy pants guardian.
No, absolutely. You know what? The internet has been huge in, I don't know if you'd call it enlightenment, but in definitely in truth seeking and information sharing. I'm sounds a little bonkers, but I'm huge into researching. Control the narrative. But I'm huge into researching like UFOs and shit like that.
USOs mean money.
And
Let's see if this works.
I was always interested as a kid. I was always fascinated, and you get the occasional book on it, and you'd get some kind of grainy photograph, kind of like the X-Files, I want to believe picture, whatever. But then you'd get, like, on the internet now, there's websites where people post, even YouTube channels, where they post videos of shit that they see in the sky and stuff like that, and you're like, wow, like, what the fuck is that? And, I believe in aliens, but people may not. And people who may not can look at that, and that opens a discussion, theoretically, right? If people weren't such shitbags on the internet, that would open a discussion about, like, what was that, if not an alien craft? What is that? And the same applies to political discourse. Is, a politician can say one thing, but if they've been caught out doing the opposite thing multiple times. Oh yeah, you're a fan of him? Man. You watch the channel, it's called Secure Team 10, I think it's called. I watch that guy's stuff. Tyler is his name. I name drop him like I fucking know the guy. I don't have a clue, like, who he is beyond his channel and stuff, but he's always posting, like, really interesting shit, and it's not just a lot of theoretical bullshit on his channel, it's also quite a bit of, like, scientific-based stuff, and obviously explained in a more interesting way than, a lot of people might do. But, yeah, there's a lot of interesting shit on his channel where they talk about, like, different planets and, gravimetric waves and things, and why things might be the way that they are happening, and different causes for things, and it's a really good channel. If you've never watched it, I recommend you check it out. I've actually been meaning to, got a video on my phone of something outside my house that I saw one day. Yeah, you know what? I lend some credence to that. I don't know how much, to be honest, but I know it sounds retarded, but I don't believe that mankind is what I would call a natural species of Earth. If you look at natural species, like, let's take, I don't know, fucking wolves, for example. Well, they are clothed in their own material. They you know, they eat nature. They're a predator. They have their own thing. I'm not explaining this very well, but basically everything in life, in nature, is about balance, right? If you look at almost every natural species out there, they all balance in nature in their own way. And they all kind of work together where, you know, the wolves eat the sheep die, and the vultures clean up after all that, and they survive that way. It's a very fucking rudimentary explanation, but there it is. And so that applies to everything across the board. Now you look at people. The only thing that gives us an advantage over any of the other species is our ability to think, our thought process, our intelligence, and our opposable thumbs, right? If people didn't have those things, we would be dominated. I mean, you're not going to go toe-to-toe with a lion because he will fuck you up. You need clothes to survive the elements. I mean, people can literally die from exposure to the elements. It's fucking bizarre. And we don't find balance with anything. We are literally some kind of cancer almost. We take, you know, an area of the land, and there's 2 people, and then there's 4, and then there's, you know, 8, and multiply, consume everything around us, and when that area is dead, we pick up and we fucking move on.
We could use a spot of help with both.
See if you can
It
track
doesn't
down the Paul
fit
terminal.
with
Jeff's got an idea
Earth.
that's crazy enough to work.
So I've long thought about the possibility that people came from somewhere else, and we as humans are all actually immigrants to this planet. I think there was somebody, Dr. Richard Greer, I think is his name, and he talks about how the different, yeah, we kill everything around us, right? Like everything. Things that are just minding their own fucking business, we either kill directly, like fucking whales. People are like, oh, you know what, I can make a candle out of you, I'm gonna fucking destroy your species. Some fucked up shit, or I guess a lantern. We kill everything. It disgusts me, and it just adds more ammunition to we're not a natural species to here. We're an invasive presence. The odd thing about it, too, though, is that we have a fucking choice, right? Like, if people could live without a few creature comforts, and I'm not talking like all of a sudden we're going to be like the Amish or something, but if people would just look at the world around them and say, hey, you know what, we could definitely get some fucking balance in things, and we don't need to destroy the ecology of a species just to build some more fucking homes. We don't need to kill anyone or anything just to you know, fucking
Excellent.
whatever.
What say you?
And I'm not talking like for food purposes and things like that. I mean, that is a natural cycle where animals eat other animals and shit like that. But I'm talking, you know, oh, we need a new set of condos up here, so let's just destroy this fucking panda's house and just wipe them out. Like, that shit is what I'm talking about. And like, if we just, okay, so we need, let's say we need fucking more room for housing. Would it be so bad to fucking build underground? You know, instead of building a structure up and out, how about down? How about some kind of fucking tethered floating structure? Like, why do we have to fucking just crush everything around us? It pisses me off and it blows my mind just at the level of, I don't know. I kind of want to say evil, but are people evil? I mean, I mean, you can take a nihilist point of view, but I like to think that, you know, how people say actions speak louder than words. Well, our actions aren't good. Our actions are, for the most part, even the well-intentioned ones, cause mass devastation. Yeah, no, there's absolutely a level of evil. And I mean, yeah, evil exists. And, you know, it's part of nature like everything else, but it has to be kept in check with balance.
Deep scan of the tunnels, we can borrow all these traps and explosives.
And I like to use vegetarianism as a as an example, I guess you'd say, of this. Now, people say, well, you shouldn't eat animals because it's cruel, and, you know, eating meat is murder and things like that. Okay, fine. So they only eat vegetables. The amount of farmland and resources required to grow the vegetables that they eat displaces and kills thousands upon thousands upon thousands of animals. I mean, farming kills tiny little creatures, right? It kills gophers, it kills mice, it takes away their right to life. And so the good intention of not eating meat because eating meat is murder ultimately leads to more, by their definition, murder. I'm just like, you can go round and round in your head with this and drive you fucking insane. Ooh, self-rule. I think people are... I think certain people are predispossessed, Jesus Christ, why can't I speak today? Predisposed to a certain type of behavior. Certain people like fucking Stephen Hawking are predisposed to being intellectual, smart, that kind of thing. Certain people like let's say Mother Teresa, for example, are helpers. And certain people like me are disposed to helping and protecting those who can't protect themselves. So I think people would find a way. But, you know, there's a philosopher from, I think, 800 BC or so. His name was Callicles, and he made an argument about what we call man-made law versus natural law. And his argument that things like murder, theft, rape, things like that, violent crimes against each other, are already governed by something that he referred to as natural justice, in which we know that those inside of ourselves are inherently wrong, and everybody can agree on that. And then you have man-made laws, which we spend a lot of our time serving now. And his contention in that was that
love unconventional.
Man-made laws are designed simply to protect the weak from the strong. And I put a lot of credence into that kind of thinking because I see it. I mean, how are you personally helped by anyone paying taxes? You're not. I mean, I know a lot of people say, well, income tax pays for police, fire, roads. The reality of it is it doesn't. All of your tax money goes to paying down national debt. Your government misspent, everyone's government misspends, and their resulting mismanagement of your money leads to you paying down their debt. But if you don't pay those taxes, you're going to jail. That is not designed to help you or people in any way. It's simply designed to keep you and everybody else in indentured servitude, really. And it just,
I could hear the
I don't know,
explosions
like,
all the way back here. I bet it was quite a show.
we're all fucking slaves, right? We're slaves of a insidious system which is designed to imprison us without shackles or a cage. I mean, here's what you're expected to do. You're expected to go to work, get a job, pay your bills, pay your taxes, and die. Well, I mean, let's stay on the topic of income tax. So you go to work to earn money that you then put that money back into the economy via paying your bills, buying food, buying a new car, whatever the fuck comes up. But they also take income tax off of your earnings. They say, hey, you worked, so fucking pay us money. What the fuck is that? Then, okay, so say you're fine with paying income tax. I'm not. I think that income tax is abhorrent and probably, I mean, I don't know about Canada, but I know in the United States there's arguments to be made that it's illegal and unconstitutional. And people have often made those and occasionally won in court on those arguments. Now, say the money, so say you earn $2,000 a paycheck, then 15% of that goes to income tax. Where does the rest of that go? Does that go to you? Or are you spending that as a no, you're spending that on what we consider and learn in school the necessities of life. The necessities of life are food, water, shelter, right? We are all taught that people cannot live without those three things. That's fucking basic science. Now you're working to provide the bare necessities of life for yourself, which is fine, right? You know.
There they go again.
But you're not keeping any money, and most people are in fucking debt. People work 2-3 jobs to provide a life for their kids. So the end result is you get a job you don't like, working hours that you don't want, waking up at a time of day that most fucking normal people wouldn't want to wake up at, to sit and drive in traffic to get there, to work for some asshole who doesn't like you or appreciate you and abuses the fuck out of you because he knows he's got you by the short curlies because you've got a family to support, so he can use and abuse you. You work overtime, all to pay for a family that you now never get to see, or a house that you don't get to fucking spend any time in. Paying all your money to other fucking people that you earn just for you to be alive. Tell me that's not fucking slavery. I mean, it is literally the definition of fucking slavery.
Giant heap of liver incoming.
My word. You'll have to keep some for yourself, you know.
We got social programs, right? And here's the amazing part of those social programs that you're being taxed under. In a democracy, you should have the right to vote on everything, right? In my opinion. I mean, okay, obviously you're not gonna vote for things like, you know, what kind of toilet paper is the government office going to procure. But things like, hey, we're going to fund programs for people from other countries. Like we're going to fund foreign aid to, I mean, let's use Israel as an example, where the United States funds a ton of foreign aid, which they turn around and use to buy military equipment to kill people. So, in a true democracy, you would get to fucking vote. Hey, you know what? This is our money that we are giving you. We don't want you spending it on weapons of war for another country when there are people down the street who are working 3 jobs and their kids don't have enough fucking food to eat. But you have to. They say it's a social contract. Well, okay, but when the government breaks that social contract, they're not held to any kind of standard. But if you break that social contract, you go to prison! People go with the thing that the internet created a way of... People who could work online and get paid without being handcuffed. Yeah, it's still taxed, right? And I mean, there are people who make a ton of money not living the way those fuckers want. And that's great and awesome, and I am definitely not one of those people, but there are also people who, or they are also people who have to pay their tax. They have to pay their bills. They're not free. They just have more pieces of paper with a picture on it than you do, so that grants them a little bit more freedom. But they're still not free. I mean, if you wanted to, in this day and age, what they call live off the grid, it would require you to have so much fucking money to start up, and you would still have to pay tax on the land that you bought. You'd still have to pay for services, unless you manage to have millions and millions of dollars that you can set those services up for yourself, like geothermal wells and things, which can be done, but again, that's beyond a lot of people's means. And nobody's ever going to get there because all the money that they earn is pushed to other fucking people. It's just, oh man, it's unreal. Yeah, that really fucked a lot of those girls up, but I mean, I know it's illegal, but I mean, I'm not personally against prostitution. Yeah, yeah. Hey, I mean, I don't know. I don't have a problem with people who use those things. I mean, you're not really hurting anybody. I mean, really. I mean, yeah, you can make an argument, oh, the girl, and blah, 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 blah. But I know plenty of girls who work in that industry, and they don't want to get out of it because they make so much goddamn money at it, and they like the lifestyle. I don't understand why they shut it down. I'm completely against that. And now, if you notice Craigslist, I don't know if you guys use Craigslist, but Craigslist has even taken off their personals section to prevent things like that from happening. And, you know, I gotta say, these girls are gonna be prostitutes no matter what. The only thing that shutting down Backpage, in my professional opinion and personal opinion, the only thing shutting down Backpage is going to accomplish is going to make their job more dangerous. Because now they're going to have to go out on the street to do their job. And, you know, like, here's, and I mean, it doesn't happen that often, but say you're a hooker and you go missing on a date. Well, if we can investigate your computer or your mobile device, we can get a history of everybody that you talk to. We can then get their IP address. We can track down the people that you had contact with that night to make meets with, and we can start an investigation with a very narrow list of suspects. And if you were kidnapped rather than murdered, we might have an actual chance of fucking saving you. You have any idea how hard it is to track a random vehicle from a street picking up a hooker in the middle of the night? Versus, oh yeah, we got the internet information, she met with fucking 5 guys. The person she had a date with before has a history of sex violence, and oh, okay, you know what, there we go. Look, she's in the trunk, we saved her life. Like, what could take an hour could now never happen.
Why do you think they're trying to jam us, Dad?
And they do it under some fucking...
I can use the core to try to find the source of whatever the fall.
Yeah, see, exactly. You know, and they justify it under morality. Oh, it's against morals. Number one, people fuck. Okay, that's it. Some people pay to fuck. Okay, it's just how it's gonna be. And you're telling me potentially making it less safe for these girls to fucking work is a higher moral standard than them having sex for money? Fuck with that. Like, yeah, like, what are you arresting them for? God damn, like, there's that fucking man-made law thing again. You're using man-made laws as a fucking weapon against somebody you don't fucking like. I mean, you don't like him because of his viewpoint on sexuality. He wasn't making it easier for people to find hookers. He just wasn't. That wasn't a thing. Like, people can find fucking hookers anywhere. All you're doing, like I said, is making it less safe for these girls to do what they're gonna fucking do anyway. It's like telling your kids, don't you ever have sex. they're gonna have sex fucking anyway. The only question is, do you want them doing it safely with the proper education? Or are you just gonna fucking let it be? I mean, I know what I would choose for my kids. You can't... One of the first things I realized when I got into this line of work was you can't control people's behavior. You can only seek to guide it. And the only way to actually affect real change is to adjust attitude. Arresting people, punishing them, things like that, absolutely necessary in certain situations. But in the case of things like prostitutes... Okay, let's use pot. I know that that's a big ticket issue in Canada right now. Legalizing pot. Okay, you know what? It's a little naive to think that that's going to be a massive solution to a lot of problems. But why would you go the route of legalizing marijuana and not legalize prostitution? All you would do in that case is make it safer, cleaner. Like, but they don't fucking do that shit for some reason. You know, if people just adjusted their attitude and said, hey, you know what? Like, let's just, like, people are gonna fuck, they're gonna be hookers. The best thing we can do from a moral standpoint is make it safe. I mean, as safe as possible. Up in arms about what? About the prostitution thing, or oh yeah, yeah, because people didn't buy pot anyway. You know what's fucking funny to me? It's like, honestly, I don't give a baker's fuck whether they legalize it or not. I mean, I don't smoke, and even if it's legal, I'm not going to, because that's my personal choice. Same reason I don't drink alcohol. It's legal, but I choose not to do it. And that's my fucking choice as a person. Nobody's pointing a gun at my head saying, smoke this blunt. Like, it's just never happened. But the naivety of it all, when people are like, oh, we're going to legalize pot and this, that, and the other thing, and then, I don't know if I'm using naivety right, it might be idiocy. I guess what I'm trying to say is, look, number one, it's not going to get rid of the black market for pot. It's just not. Because not only is the pot that you're going to get from your dealer going to be way higher in THC content, which is what people are fucking after, but it's also not going to be taxed. It's going to be cheaper. The government is legalizing pot, and let's not face it, they're not legalizing pot because people want it to be legalized. The government doesn't give a fuck what you want. They're legalizing it because they can make tax money off of it. That is it, pure and simple. It's 100% business decision, nothing more.
Let's see them fight without weapons.
And so people are still going to buy it because they're going to tax it. I've been hearing as much as 30%. So let's say that they tax it at fucking 30%. Because, I mean, let's half that. Let's say they tax it at 15% generously, which I think even booze tax is higher now, so I can't imagine them doing it at 15%. But it's still going to be cheaper and better bang for your buck to buy from a dealer. So are people going to buy from dispensaries? Yes. Is it going to solve all the problems related to the drug part of it? And people saying, well, it'll make the black market disappear, and then people like the Hells Angels and all that sell these drugs, they'll be out of business. No. Fucking no. It's just not gonna work that way. And even if it did, then they would just concentrate on selling harder drugs. They're not going away. Oh, fucking Money Mart. Don't even get started on fucking Money Mart. Goddamn cancer. I had to cash a check at fucking Money Mart one time. And rather than just give me money, like, I'm like, hey, you know, it wasn't even a big check. It was like a government rebate check, which was like $200 and some. Like, well, we could give you cash, but I don't know. It would be safer for you if you put it on our Money Mart Visa card. I was like, looking at this thing, I'm like, no, I want my fucking cash, motherfucker. Like, I don't want your Visa card. I'm looking at it. You have to pay a 15% sign-up fee for the amount that you sign up for. So you're paying more. Oh, like, just slimy fucking tactics. And they're preying on, oh, you might get robbed when you leave here. Then you'll have no money. And then we're going to fucking charge you 15%, and then we'll give you a payday loan because we know money's tight for you, but we're going to tax it the absolute highest amount. Because, you know, just fucking slime balls, dude. Fucking Money Mart, the cash store.
I used to think the Fallen worship machines, but this doesn't look very worshipful.
They all employ predatory tactics against people who don't have fucking money.
This tunnel looks promising.
And then people wonder why they can't dig themselves out from the fucking debt tunnel. But I think the reality of it is the government wants you in debt. The more in debt you are, the more they fucking own you. And that's all these fucking companies want, the government wants. They just want to own everybody and everything. They want to control 100%. And you know what's fucked up about it is there are people... No. I mean, I live in a pretty decent neighborhood, and there isn't... I mean, I live in a higher income city, I guess, neighborhood, which is considered a sub-city or whatever you want to call it. I live in the suburbs. There isn't a Money Mart or cash store or anything like that in this city. It's not here. You have to go to the next city over. Which is, yeah, lower income. Oh, student loans. Student loans are... Oh, God. I gotta say, I think secondary education, or post-secondary rather, is a fucking scam. From start to finish. Alright, you're paying us $40,000 a year to get, and they'll sell you on this, a better job, which leads to a better life, and a university graduate can earn up to $100,000 more in their lifetime. Motherfucker, 100 grand really is not much, especially in this day and age. Okay, so you can earn 100 grand more after paying $40,000 for an education where you are forced to buy a book written by the same professor that's teaching you for $200, which only has 3 different words in the last edition that you could get, and they kill your used book market by changing just a couple of things here and there and saying, well, if you get that last edition, you'll learn all the wrong stuff. And oh my God. And then you get out of school and you're so massively in debt that you end up taking a shit job just to make those fucking loan payments. And then you're stuck at that shit job where they're like, well, you earn $100,000 more in your lifetime, minus the fucking 40 grand that you paid for your school, so you're stuck at 60. And the fact that you're working a shit job that you hate, and you're probably only making 25 grand in your first 5 fucking years. Whereas if you just were a smart person and went into a job that was reasonably well paying from the onset and worked your ass up career-wise, you'd be so much farther than $100,000 ahead. But again, they use these fucking fear tactics that I'm getting so sick of them fucking employing everywhere, man. That if you don't do it, you're going to have a shitty life, you're going to marry a horrible woman, and you're going to die in a hovel. Because fucking post-secondary is a goddamn business. And that business is, again, it's fucking using predatory tactics to feed off your fear of being a fucking failure and not being able to provide for your wife and family.
This is it. Hold them off, and I'll use that shank core to shut down the signal remotely.
And you know what? I'm sure that's why they have never gone ahead with the idea of mandatory military service, because I guarantee you, if they made military service mandatory, most people would never fucking go to university. They would tell university to eat every dick in a giant fucking bag of dick, because they would go to the military, they would learn a job, they would be well trained, they would be self-sufficient, and then they would come out and be like, I don't fucking need university. Like, I fucking have the skill set that I need to succeed already. And I didn't fucking need some fucking fraud teaching me. I'm a firm believer that if you ever want to see if anything's a scam or a crime, follow the money from start to finish. From the moment you pay it to where that money actually ends up. And if it's fucking making some old fat dude rich, then it's a fucking scam. And tell me one fucking university dean that isn't a rich-ass motherfucker.
Just before you took out that captain, I fried all their broadcast capabilities.
Good. I'm fucking happy to hear that. Like, I'm a big fan of education. I think that education, my personal opinion, I think post-secondary education should be fucking free.
Then we can start rallying.
You would have a whole bunch. I mean, the effects of free education for everyone would be amazing. But the fact that people are like, nah, you know what, we'll go our own way, eat a dick, I think that that's fucking amazing. Good for them. Took a long ass time, but, you know. Positive change is seldom fast. Now, are you in school, or do you work? Or, I mean, if you don't want to tell me, that's too personal. That's cool. Oh yeah, no, absolutely. And you know what else fucking blows my mind is when you look at university. God, maybe I need to take a university course in speaking. When you look at university courses, say you want to go and study, I don't know, let's say, fucking computer science, growth industry. Probably a pretty good, well-paying job. You would think that you would, at some point, just be learning about computer science, because that would be the most relevant thing to learn about. No, 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 no. You can't learn about computer science unless you take insert random fucking course here. It has nothing to do with computer science. It has everything to do with them forcing enrollment into programs that they know nobody would fucking take if they didn't force it down your throat so that they could earn more fucking money. Oh, I'm sorry, your degree in computer science is not valid because you didn't get an extra credit in fucking History of the Circus 101. Oh, okay, so you're, what do they call it, multifaceted? I guess you could say. I mean, you really can't just focus on one thing anymore if you want to make any kind of fucking money to live. No idea where I'm fucking going. So, when you say that you've done homelessness, does that mean you were working with the homeless, or that you were homeless yourself?
this forest again. Well, I can't say our last visit wasn't memorable. Let's see what we can find.
Yeah, no, it has, yeah, people are, you see that in marriage a lot too. People are like, oh, I'm too young to get married, and then they get married in their 30s, and then they're like, well, now I'm too old to have kids, or some shit like that, and you're just like, wow. Like, yeah, it goes to that balance thing. I think nature, like, we're designed to fit a life cycle, right? You live as a teenager, you grow up into your 20s, you get married, you have kids. You know, in your 40s, your kids leave home and go and live their own lives, and you retire, and things like... I think that that's kind of how things were supposed to go. Oh, you were actually homeless yourself. Jeez. That's...
Gotta love the ambiance.
I've never been there myself.
Do you see that? Over there.
But it's always been something in the back of my mind that, like, it could happen to anybody.
Here in the tower and talk them low.
If you know, if you suffered a mental breakdown, or you had a real shit run of luck or something, you could very, very easily end up there. And I don't know. I mean, that's got to be fucking tough. And I think even harder than being homeless would be to go from homelessness to not homeless anymore, because there's a huge marginalization of people who are homeless, right? Like, say you lost your house for, let's say, because of a divorce, and you had nowhere to live. Well, that's not really your fault. I mean, you married the wrong woman, but you can't punish people for making that bad choice. Now, say you had a real bad run of luck and you lost your house at the same time. Or your job at the same time that you lost your house. Well, how are you going to get a new job when you go into your interviewer's place and say, hey, I'm fucking homeless, or my address is a homeless shelter? I mean, they're not going to want to give you a chance because of the pre-judgment of what homeless people are. So your pride got in the way. But you know what? That's a completely normal thing, is for pride to get in the way of things. And a lot of people, I see it every day at work, a lot of people don't ask for help until it's way too late.
I think these light projections might be lessons.
That's all about pride, and that's all about... Oh yeah, no doubt. I mean, I know for a fact that there are homeless people here who make more money than most people with, like, good jobs. But there are also, and you know what? That's a great testament to the generosity of people. But I think the same thing with immigrants and things like that is, you don't help anybody simply by tossing money at them. You can't fix a problem by throwing money at the problem. Whether it be a homeless person or an immigrant or whatever. You don't give them a better life by providing for everything. I think you provide a better life for people by providing opportunity for them to make something of themselves. I mean, I'm not for equality of people simply because I think it's a fallacy. You know, in physical combat, is a brain surgeon or a mathematician my equal? Probably fucking not, right? In a lot of cases. Now, in mathematics or neurosurgery, am I that person's equal? Abso-fucking-lutely not. But, and I mean, so equality is
Let's use it.
illogical, right? It's not gonna work. It doesn't exist. Can't work. But equality of opportunity, I think, is huge. Yeah, no, absolutely. Having no fixed address, less freeing a simple life period, more rough living in shitty housing. I can see how it would be freeing. Yeah, absolutely. I gotta say, I think it's probably, at least in my opinion, I mean, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but is it more freeing simply because at its barest form, that's how people were meant to live? No, I'm not saying homeless, but without governing and total control of your life. Yeah, so your goals in life become simpler, whereas I think, like, most people's goals are like, oh, I want to get a pay raise, and then I want to buy this car, and then, you know, when I get that, then I'll be happy, and they're constantly chasing the dragon on it, taking showers, sure. Yeah, so your standard of living was lower, and so everything became, yeah, simpler. I mean, I don't like the idea of being homeless, and it doesn't sound like it's my cup of tea, but I do like the idea of freedom and simplification. Right, yeah. I mean, I personally, I bought an old-ass telephone. I don't use a smartphone anymore. I use an old Nokia phone. I mean, you can text on it, and I suppose you could surf the internet if you really were motivated to do so. But basically, it's a cell phone, and it calls people, and that's it. And at first, I gotta admit, I hated it. I went through kind of almost a withdrawal. And at first, you know, I was like, well, maybe I'll go back to a smartphone because, man, it was just so much this, that, and the other thing. But I realized through that just how much fucking time I actually spent on that goddamn thing. And I'd had enough. I'd had enough. And so I made the choice to simplify, and now it's been months and months, and I don't miss smartphones even a little bit. Because all it was as a good friend of mine put it. It's a digital leash. No shit. You know, you hear about guys who came back from World War II being prisoners of war, and for like years after they came home, they slept on the floor. They just couldn't get used to the bed and things like that. And yeah, I mean, I never thought of homelessness in that way, but I guess that would be
incredible. That was a test.
Yeah.
I think we aced it.
So, you changed physically in your preference for beds. Would you say you changed... I mean, I'm sure the answer is yes, but what ways would you say that you changed as a person?
A corrupted shard can still do so much good.
Sure. So you'd say you're better off, or you're better off, yeah, you're a better person for the experience. Did you find that a lot of your friends kind of abandoned you when things got hard? I only ask because I experienced the same thing. Like, I didn't experience homelessness, but I experienced people just taking off on you that you thought were true friends. Well, yeah, that's true, isn't it? No matter how bad off you are, I guess it could always get worse, right? At least you had your health. Oh yeah? So it kind of went the way of, you were there to make them feel better about themselves, and they like that. God, people just love to see a failure, don't they, right? Like, there was a superhero movie, I think it was, might have been Man of Steel or something, but they had some kind of line in it where they basically said they build you up so that they can tear you down.
Okay. I heard this was. Do you remember what the boss said about this?
And man, that's fucking completely true, isn't it? Right? Like, people love a hero, but they love a fallen hero even more.
You thought a bit of apocalypse would shut down Eververse? Not likely. We have two choices here. Give up, give in, or stand up, brush off the dirt, and come see me again, Guardian.
That is just so fucked up.
Always something new at Eververse.
Yeah, you know, if somebody's truly your friend, like, I've got a friend, and he went through a hard time, and then things got better.
Now I know why.
And when he was successful and started to get kind of his life back, I felt like I was part of that success too, and I felt happy for him. And you know, when he finally found a girl and things like that, I was just like,
Wish I'd had that years ago.
good for you, man. Like, I was fucking proud of him, and
Good call with that one.
you see so many.
Are you still with
Put
us?
me in your place. Oh, what? Man, fuck those guys. They're not your fucking friend at all.
Crucible needs me, Guardian. Are you ready to deploy?
Did you tell him to eat a dick? Because I'd have fucking told him to eat a dick.
Guardian, but the Crucible needs backup now more than ever.
Fuck, man. How are those people friends? You know what I mean? Like,
It gets harsher every day. It has to.
We need more Guardians like you. Red Legion's
I
coming.
mean, I'd be lying if I said I was never jealous of any, you know, of people I worked with getting promoted over me, or, you know, things like that. But I didn't wish them ill because of that. I mean, I was simply fucking jealous, you know. I wish I'd gotten that, but I was never like, oh, you didn't fucking deserve it. I mean, there are cases when, you know, clearly the person didn't deserve it, but they got it anyway.
It's been years since you spent time with people.
That's the world's biggest fucking soccer ball. Yeah, you really, those people are friggin' cancerous. You gotta cut them out of your life. Friends are supposed to build you up, not bring you down. Yeah, people with attitudes like that, though, I mean, they will take you down to their level. Whereas I always believed friends are supposed to try and elevate each other, or push each other. Oh, wow, interesting. Push each other to be better, or, you know, if you're a good friend and you know what that person's capable of, you don't let them beat themselves. Never mind actively being like, oh, you fucking don't do that, because, man, I'd have slapped the taste out of their mouth.
It was a hot class chassis.
You know, if I had a fucking good friend who was fucking homeless, first of all, I'd be like, dude, like, come and fucking stay with me until you get your shit back in order. Obviously, that would come with, you know, some expectations, like you would actually be attempting to get your shit back in order and stuff like that. But to then try and be like, oh, hey, don't fucking push too hard, because, no, man. That's some shady as fuck business.
Our inventory is stocked, so no rush. The data is replaceable. Or not.
Oh, sure, Sun Tzu's Art of War. Yeah. I read that years and years and years ago.
Now that we're leaving, if we stayed, yes, we could help them survive. But if Zavala really is building a counteroffensive on Titan, we can save them all and take back.
I have to say I was more a fan of Machiavelli's The Prince versus Sun Tzu's Art of War.
Vanguard Fleet, Guardian Ship 723 is on approach. Commander, we're here to help.
No! We've already lost too many lightless Guardians to the Hive. We can't secure this moon.
We have our light back.
What? Impossible.
Commander, if I may. Guardian, this is Deputy Commander Sloan. We have a counter-offensive to plan. To do that, we need to get this station up and running. There's a fleet to prep, Guardians to arm, and a trove of intercepted Red Legion transmissions to decrypt. It's critical we gain access to the station's control center.
Oh, absolutely it is.
If the light really is with
Nobody's helping anybody else out of, well, I can't say nobody, but very few people are helping for altruistic reasons. Most of them are simply helping to get a payday. And you know, I've watched a lot of these like supposed motivational speakers and shit, and what's kind of occurs to me is most of them seem to be selling the easy answer.
But I was a fool to think the Hive would not spread this far.
And none of them really seem to want to... Oh, dead. None of them really seem to want to give people the hard answer. You know, oh, I'm fat. Oh, you know, you're addicted to this and blah, 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 blah.
About this.
And all you need to say is, look, you're obese. Like, you're being lazy, you're eating too much food. Stop. Like, that's the real answer. You want help? You want help? Exercise. Like, people are get you for... Oh yeah, you know, you ever watch Fight Club where he becomes addicted to the self-help groups? Yeah, absolutely. It is an addiction. It's kind of, I think, in the same way cults work, right? Like, they work off giving the easy answer. And yeah, they give that euphoria to people who then fucking buy into it, and yeah, it's absolutely an addiction. You know, that's a good good way of looking at things too, is that
Okay, Sloan, we can see the control center.
he only kind of, what the hell? Come on, man.
Commander, at this rate, we can start planning our counteroffensive.
He only kind of got his life together when he kind of went and did his own thing. Jesus, I'm never gonna make it across there. Game? Fuck you. Oh yeah, no, it's a simplified version of things that are already in the public domain, and I think if most people were being honest, that they already knew. Like, nobody knows or doesn't know, like, if you wanna be successful, you gotta work hard at something. Right? Nobody fucking doesn't know that. But somehow, when Tony Robbins stands up there with his big toothy grin and says, "Oh, hey, believe in yourself and you can accomplish anything," people will throw fucking money at it. I mean, hell, maybe the two of us should get together and fucking start selling some of this bullshit. Certainly be fucking richer for it. Call it the power of you. Look at that. Yeah, stop procrastinating. You know what? I don't have any money. Well, I know that's the fucking reason why you don't have any money, because you don't have a job. Gosh, really? Yeah, you need to get to work. Oh my god, thanks, I will. Here's $5,000. Cool, man, thanks. Like, fuck me. Lowest common denominators. You know, you're not telling what people need to hear either. You're telling them what they fucking want to hear. And they're paying out the ass for it. Don't beat yourself. Okay.
Like
that'll be $1,500
kind of
deal.
Ritual. We should talk to Ikora. She knows all there is to know about hive magic.
No one has seen Ikora or Cade since the city fell.
Yeah, right? Kind of reminds me, I mean, that's I don't know how you feel about the Syrian refugees, but I know that they're like, oh, we're running away because our country is in shambles and war and our country is poor and things like this. And I'm thinking, if that was the case in my country, I would try to make things better there. I can't respect people who run from their home because things are a little difficult. Now, if your country's being torn apart by the Nazis and it's World War II and you're like, I'm going to send my wife and kids to someplace safe until it's safe here again, I get that. I do, and I would probably do the same thing. But would I run like a bitch and abandon everything? No. Fucking no. And then you want me to feel sorry for you? Like, as far as I'm concerned, you're a fucking coward who deserves nothing. I can abide a lot of things in life. I can't abide cowardice.
Perfect. Recon the perimeter before you move on the control center.
I can't make lots of money in Mexico. Okay, then make more money in Mexico. You know what I mean? Like, well, and then they come and they work hard in the United States, which is fine, whatever. And then but they send all their money back to Mexico. I know that you're doing the best for your family, but again, greater good. You are fucking up your country because now they're getting huge amounts of money, comparative, which gives them a higher standard of living, comparative, that is unsustainable because they can't sustain it themselves. If you lose your job, you get hurt, you get sick, you die, that family now has a massively high standard of living, which they will lose, and they will lose fucking everything. It's all about self-sustainability, and these things, they don't create it. And again, it's just giving people money. That's the problem. You're not giving them opportunity. You're just throwing money at them. Supposed to be doing. Sure. Yeah, they just realized that now. Yeah, that shit. That's just so fucking funny to me. Things that a third grader would have realized decades ago, the government suddenly like, wait a minute. Maybe this wasn't a good idea. I have no idea how to fucking get where I need to go. Yeah, I mean, when I think of Canada, I think of a lot of virtue signaling going on, and people always trying to one-up each other on giving and tolerance and things like this, and almost to the point that, I mean, tell me if you think I'm off base here, but I kind of think of Canada as communist in a lot of ways. During World War II, there's a saying in the United States to get people to buy victory bonds or war bonds, whatever they called them. And it was, give till it hurts. And now I think that the Canadians have maybe taken that to the next level and given till it not only hurts, but is hurting themselves and everybody around them. And being told by the government now that that's what you're expected to do, and if you don't do it, then you're insert, you know, labeling here, Islamophobe or a right-wing psycho-Nazi or... I mean,
So it looks like we're standing in some kind of
good nature and giving and things like that, those are admirable qualities. Absolutely. Like, we should all endeavor to be that way. The issue is that there are people who do not share our line of thinking. They don't share our belief system. And they take advantage of the belief system that we do have. And I don't think that most Canadians, although they might be waking up. I mean, I see a lot of more, I guess you'd call them conservative, but I don't like that fucking term. People making videos and stuff in Canada, and they're not going along with the status quo that's kind of being forced down their throats. So I can't say all Canadians, because that might be inaccurate, but certainly government side.
Sweep the perimeter and we'll move in on your signal.
I think that they are definitely forcing a communist agenda. Which I guess is to be expected when you elect fucking Justin Trudeau. That guy is a walking ideology. He's not even a fucking person. Like, you don't need him in charge to know what his response to things are going to be. Like, the fact that he changed your economy and based it around the fact that women aren't paid equally, which any economist in the world will tell you that they are paid equally, and in a lot of occasions paid more than their male counterparts, and that the pay discrepancy arrives from a different set of evaluating than logic would dictate. Oh no, I fucking absolutely agree that Canada's not unified. I mean, it hasn't been unified since the Canadians elected their, I don't know, it was Justin Trudeau's daddy, wasn't it, that put your constitution, where the fuck am I going? Come on, brain. They put your constitution and put something in there that said that the French are a separate and distinct society. From that moment on, you have zero hope of ever being a unified society, because they literally set it out in your constitution that you're a separate entity from each other. And I think in a lot of cases, the French have taken that to mean not separate and distinct, but special and unique. Now, whether that was the intention in the writing of it, I don't know. But that was a mistake. You know what else is funny to me is, like, Canadians have almost built, I don't know if you'd even call it a subculture, it might actually be an entire culture around not being American, quote unquote. Oh no, we're not like the Americans, we insert value system here. But I think Canada, in a lot of cases, is very similar to the United States. And I mean, there are obvious differences culturally in some ways, but it's almost like they've gone so far into being like, we're not American, that they have, like, launched themselves in the opposite direction of the United States, just based on principle and not based on logic.
Sloan, Commander, it's done.
Copy that. Zavala and I are inbound.
Like, is everything the United States does paved with gold? Fuck no. Is anything any country does paved with gold all the time? Absolutely not. But to just abandon logic and reason and then be like, well, the Americans did this, so let's do the complete opposite. I remember when Trump said that there will be no transsexual people allowed to serve in the military. I remember that the Canadians' response was to show a bunch of soldiers or sailors or something in the gay pride parade and saying, oh, well, we won't do that. You can join whoever you are. Without looking at the reasoning behind why they said no transsexual people in the military. They didn't look at the reasons, right? They just immediately counter it, like, within a couple hours.
Shipwright Holiday here will provide
and it's like, well, hold on, like, here's the line of thinking. Nope, Americans did that, we don't like it, we're not American, welcome to Canada. Okay, but the reason that they said no had logic and sense behind it, and it wasn't just because we don't like your personal choices. It had to do with the realities of combat and certain aspects that were found to be in conflict with each other. And I don't get it. Like, you know what? I admire the Canadians and their free healthcare. I think that that's an amazing thing. Would I like to see that in the United States and maybe in every country in the world? Fucking absolutely, man. Absolutely. Like, I think everybody has the fundamental right to healthcare regardless of the ability to pay for it or not. But saying that, I mean, I I can say that because I'm comfortable saying, you know, when something is a good idea and when something's not. And I'm not going to just say, well, that's just how the Canadians do it. We don't do it that way. You know, things like that. I'm not going to say that because that makes no logical fucking sense. But you don't see that, like I say, you don't see that in Canada. You always see, well, the Americans did it this way, so what's the exact fucking opposite coin of that? Well, they elected, you know, a Republican guy, so we better elect the most liberal guy that we can fucking find. Even to our own detriment. Well, gosh, bro. That sounds like a really great idea. Making some positive inroads. Life choices.
Sloan, Amanda, the Hive have infected everything.
Holiday, we gotta get you back in the air. We'll need ongoing aerial threat assessments to keep our perimeter secure.
Oh, yeah. You know my ship took a beating during the evacuation.
I'll bump you to the front of the line for repairs once the lights are back on.
Great. Great.
Sure, I see that. And what's odd to me is your, what do they call it? The CBC, the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, is a government-funded news organization. How the fuck are you going to get fair and non-partisan reporting from a government-owned organization? Like, that's Stalin's Russia style shit, right?
From here.
Sweet. Now just flip the switch and turn them on.
Yeah, there's not going to be any neutral reporting on anything whatsoever. It floors me.
Something went wrong. Pistons must be jammed.
Sorry, pal. But you're gonna have to go out there. Bring a workaround.
I mean, not that our media is great. I mean, our media is often owned by ass bags with their own agenda, and then the news puts it out. But I think anything being owned by the government in the realm of news reporting and things that are supposed to be, like you said, objective and let people, like, in my opinion, all the news should do is present a story in all of its fact and then allow you to make up your own mind about it. Oh yeah, I'm not a huge Fox fan. I watch their occasional thing, but you know, that's the thing too, like, I'll watch Fox and I will agree with some of the stuff that they say, and I'll disagree with some of the stuff they say as well.
This is how we're going to beat the Hive.
And I mean, like I said earlier, that's my choice, and that's my responsibility, even as a person watching, is to decide what to do with the information that I'm presented and what my belief systems are. And I'll intentionally watch things on occasion that I don't agree with whatsoever, because it makes me justify my own value system. And if I find that my value system, I can't justify it, then I'm open to changing my mind. But I found that when I watched the Canadian news, it was almost hostile in the way that they want you to believe what they're telling you. Believe it or you're an idiot and you don't blah blah blah. And I'm just like, okay, like a lot of like CNN does the same fucking thing, and I simply just don't watch CNN for that reason. But I always thought that media and reporters were supposed to have a value system that went along with, let's find the story, let's whatever the thing, whether it's good or bad, let's find it and put it out there, and then leave the people to make the decision about that story for themselves. You know, the government's fucking up, we need to go and call them out on it. John F. Kennedy, he said in a speech, not long before he was assassinated, that it's the media's responsibility to hold the government accountable. And then, of course, you know, they assassinated him for it, and that's a fucking horrible thing, but he's absolutely right that that's what the media is supposed to do. They're supposed to hold people accountable. That was their purpose and inception, and they used to do it. And what the fuck was that?
Hear that?
Wow. Chick has a set of pipes on her. Yeah, that startled me, I'm not gonna lie. And yeah, so they used to do that, and then somewhere along the line, media became a tool not of truth, but of an agenda. And whoever happened to be in control, I mean, media became propaganda, is probably a better way of putting it. And it breaks my heart, because everything in life needs a check and balance, and without the media doing the job that they're fucking... I mean, I don't know, I've never been a news reporter, but I can imagine there's some kind of oath to take or something. And if there is, there's some kind of value system you're sworn to uphold, then shame on you for not doing it.
Once they're all moving, we're in business.
Manufactured consent. Fuck yeah, exactly. We're not telling people facts anymore, we're telling them what they want. If they disagree, then they're wrong.
Oh yeah, found the problem. The Hive have gunked up the pistons.
Then let's find a fix.
We should get this converter working before we move on. First piston's good to go. We gave it a power scrubbing.
That's great and all, but, it's still pretty dark on this end. Sounds like you got more scrubbing to do, Guardian.
No, you really can't, and you shouldn't. And it's awesome that you realize that. The horrifying thing is that there are people who don't realize that, and who hold the media at their word, and like, well, they said this is true, so this must be true. And I can't help but think of the, God, what was it? It was the 40s, I think, 1940s or 50s. The original Orson Welles' War of the Worlds, where people legitimately believed they were being invaded by aliens just because of how it was put out on the radio. Cooler minds did not prevail that day. And so how can we think any different now? I mean, you could be deliberately misled at any point, and if you don't have the intelligence or the will, more than intelligence, if you don't have the will to see it differently or to think critically, then you're going to believe whatever they want you to believe. And in an idealistic world, what they would want you to believe would be the right thing. It would be honest and truthful and well-meaning, but see, you know what? That's a course that people need to fucking teach in university, is how to think critically. Not how to believe what you're told, but how to think for yourself. How to process the information that you're given and come to a conclusion yourself. That's something they need to fucking teach.
It's gotta be more than a piston problem. I have to get in, futz with the circuit breakers. Try the central platform. Everything routes through there.
You could be a motivational speaker about critical thinking, and you could be a fucking millionaire. There, I just gave you that idea. Oh, I'm dead. And all I ask is the royalties, like 10%. That's all I want. You can tell the origin story of your class. Some fucking animated raccoon on Twitch told me. I'm dead again. Fucking cool. Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's something to fucking teach people. Because they simply don't fucking know it. And that's something that would have a super big impact on people's lives and the world around them. Oh yeah, it's sync. The sync isn't always perfect, but the program does its best to listen to the words that you're saying and then adjust the mouth position, and it does a pretty good job. It syncs to my, like, shake your head back and forth and move forward. It syncs to your blinking your eyes or moving them up and down.
Power's back. Exemplary work, everyone.
So yeah, like all the animation that I'm doing is me moving. It's motion capture. It was an expensive fucking program, though, I'll tell you that. It's like $700. Yeah, it wasn't cheap.
It's a hell of a view, isn't it? We're up and running thanks to you. There's plenty more to do around here, though. Chief among them, finally breaking ground on a counter-offensive against the Red Legion. I have a plan, but it won't work without you. We intercepted a Priority 1 Red Legion signal during the city evacuation, but we can't... Stay sentry. What?
Yeah, I thought I was gonna be, not on, I mean, there might be one or two, in Twitch. I'm not big on Twitch. I don't know why, but I've never managed to really make much of an impact on Twitch. I've got a bigger following on YouTube. Oh yeah? Catch the Europeans? Oh man. I seem to catch a lot of assholes on Twitch. I had a guy come in yesterday and was like, "Your fucking stream sucks." Oh, thanks, man. I actually put a lot of time, money, and effort into my stream, and it's nice to hear that you hate it. See, I catch a lot of douchebags. Yeah, I started on YouTube maybe 2 or 3 days before I started on Twitch. So not by a wide margin, but I don't know why I became more popular on YouTube. Yeah, just fucking total trolls. Which is fine, I mean, I don't care, it's whatever, it's just... I was having a particularly frustrating day yesterday.
Can't work without that stuff.
And then this guy just came in and started shit-talking my stream, and I was just like, fucking why, dude? Like, I put effort in, and I look at the fucking news, and I think of, like, entertaining things to talk to people about when they come in, and I try to make an effort to learn a little bit about everybody who comes into my channel. You know, if they stick around long enough. You get a lot of people who just drop by, and then they disappear, which is whatever, but... You know, I do put in effort, and then some just fucking asshole comes in like, your channel fucking sucks. Like, well, what have you done with your channel that's so amazing? Oh, I don't stream. Well, it just goes back to that. People who can't or won't love to tell you that you can't and shouldn't. I mean, maybe my stream sucks. I mean, maybe I wasted $700 on a motion cap program, and people are like, fucking fag! Which is fine. I mean, whatever. I don't stream. I'm not saying if I became popular on stream and made some decent scratch at it that I wouldn't do it for a full-time job kind of thing, but I play the games for me, and then I just happen to stream them, and then I meet, you know, interesting people like you and have some good fucking conversations and shit like that, and it's more for the social aspect than anything else, and so, you know, I do it for me, and then just this guy comes in here, you fucking suck. Oh man, whatever, eat a dick.
Break it up, Fallen.
Or you'll break them.
Yeah, but think I'd probably be a lot more popular if I was a chick. Oh, it's super helpful for that, isn't it? Like, I remember when I first started streaming, I was shy as fuck about it, because you're like, you just feel kind of awkward, or I don't know what it was, but I found that, yeah, it made me more, like, better at public speaking. I wasn't terrible at public speaking before, but it gave me more confidence, and that was carried over into my personal life as well. Well, you do it well. I mean, I didn't get the impression that you were fucking new at it or anything like that. You seem pretty comfortable, so. I used to stream my face and things like that, but I decided that professionally, maybe that wasn't such a safe idea, and so I mean, actually, I should probably. I have old streams where my face is still on them, but I should probably delete those. YouTube alternative. Well, I mean, yeah, they could be. I don't see it as a YouTube alternative. I just see it as another branch, because YouTube has such a monopoly on the market that, oh, they're always looking for you. Yeah, I mean, I go on here, I go on YouTube, I go on Mixer, I go on Daily Motion. People are always looking for the new hotness, and yeah, but then people think I'm a furry. Are you like into sex with animals and shit? No. Mine too, really. Are they gonna put 14 seconds instead of 7?
Yes! Stole their firepower and we smashed up their walkers.
We felt those explosions from here, but we're still standing, and the fallen are not. High commendations.
Oh man, you know what? At this point in my life, it's just like nothing's crazy anymore. No, I mean I can. I don't. I just leave all the identifying things out, but it's just like there's a good saying that says, you know, the worst day of someone's life is your Tuesday. And just, I don't want to say you get desensitized to it all, but you basically get desensitized to it all.
My crews will be reinforcing this rig again in no time.
Those fallen you tracked? We've located the rest of the gang. They're consolidating stolen Golden Age tech in a nice big pile out in the open.
Give those thieves a taste of their own medicine.
That guy was just suicidal. Yeah, and I get asked a lot of, like, what's the craziest thing you've ever come across, or, you know, like, you come across a lot of weird shit, but then you just remember that people are inherently fucking weird, and it all makes sense. You know, it's not the particularly horrible, I mean, you remember that stuff, but it's not what really sticks out. It's the, like, the weird, crazy shit that comes up that, like, I always remember. Like, this... There, got a call from a hotel about a rather portly woman, shall we say, who was there in the hotel with her lover. She sat on the toilet seat, and because she was so large in size, she had to sit on the toilet seat with the seat lifted up. But because she was kind of sweaty and very, very big from her activities, it made a seal around the toilet, and she couldn't stand up.
Good job. I'll set up a transmat.
So
Wait a minute.
they called us,
My beacon.
and I was thinking, what the fuck am I supposed to do here? Like, you could stick your fucking, or you could try to wedge the baton in between her skin and the toilet seat and break the seal so she could stand up, or like, you just thinking about all these different solutions, and ultimately the fire department ended up having to come and cut the toilet in half down the side to free this chunky bitch. And I was just like, wow, like, this is, how the fuck am I supposed to get up there? Like, that's the stuff that I always remember. It's just like the weird ass.
Does that fallen look like a transmat?
I can't believe that fucking happened.
It looks like a transmat beacon thief to me.
And I can't believe that I have a front row fucking seat to this amazing disaster that is this woman's fucking life today.
That one's gotta be a Transmat Beacon thief. He looks even thiefier than the first one.
Yeah, like you see weird shit like that all the time, and like that stuff. And I mean, like I said, you see a lot of horrible shit. There's no doubt about that. But then you get a day like that where you see that kind of stuff, and you're just like, it's not all bad.
Area's clear. Let's get back to that stash so I can send it over.
God damn it, really? This class sucks balls for jumping. Yeah, they make me laugh too. Like, I don't even get frustrated. There's games where you'd be like, man, I can't believe I fucking died, but this one, you just like, you jump and you just float to your death. You're kind of like, yeah, alright. That was good. I'm comfortable with that. Died like some fucking fairy floating to Earth or some shit. Mary Poppins. Hit that little bastard. You play any games at all? Are you a gamer? Yeah, it is Mother's Day. Are you a mother?
Clean them out. These components are critical to the rig's structural integrity. And thanks to you, we've got the tools to put them back.
Whatever the Fallen steal, we steal back.
While I cannot condone theft,
Mother's Day.
well done.
I think it's sometime in February. I have no idea. I should probably know that. No, you know, a lot of people don't game, and I mean, that's cool. I wish that I didn't, to be honest. Such a fucking time sink. But at this point, I've just got so much shit invested in it that it's like, oh, you know what? I've got one. Super Nintendo. Fuck yeah. Dude, some of those old games, I still play it. Like, I'll play it a couple times a week still. I fucking love Super Nintendo. Yeah, they did that classic Nintendo or SNES or something. Which is cool and all, but for me, I like my legit. I'm a hipster like that. I got the actual one. Fuck yeah. What am I doing here? But no, man, that's like the games back then were so fucking simple, but they were so good. Like, I don't know why. They're still good today. Like, I still play. I run Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past. I'll run that shit a couple times a year. Oh yeah? Man, if I could figure out how to run my Super Nintendo and stream it, I should fucking look into that, because I would love, absolutely love to play those games.
Yeah.
I think that's something, yeah, you know what, I might look into that tomorrow. There's got to be a way. Might need some kind of an adapter cord for it or something, so it'll be recognized by OBS, but...
Look at those caches. They never learn.
Yeah, man, that game was... I mean, and when I finished that for the first time when I was a kid. I mean, teenager, but... I had such a sense of, like, accomplishment from finishing that game. There was no internet back then to be like, oh yeah, I don't know the fucking solution to this puzzle, I'll just Google it. You had to do it all on your own.
Bagged another walk. What are we up to, Sloan? 16? 60?
I stopped counting some time back. You keep racking them up.
Yeah, Game Pro, or Nintendo Pro, or whatever the fuck it was called. Or a Game Genie? Yeah. Shit. Yeah, Nintendo Power Magazine. Man. Yeah, what was that movie with Fred Savage that was a fucking... I think it was just an original Nintendo movie where they gotta go to California and they end up competing in Super Mario 3. The Power Glove. It's so bad. Fuck, that was a cheesy movie, but man. Got the bet on that shot.
A fallen antenna. The fallen houses each used to have their own unique encryption, but now the codes they're using are all variants of the House of Kings.
The Mario? Was that the... I think that was the name. Oh, the movie. Yeah, there was a movie. Fuck, I gotta look that up. I'm gonna fucking Google that here as soon as I'm out of danger. Should be safe enough, I think. Oh, I was wrong. Okay, now we should be safe enough. The Wizard. It's called The Wizard. And yeah, man, I loved that movie when I was a kid. And when they came out, like, man, I remember the first time I watched that movie when they showed Super Mario 3 on that. That was the first time I'd seen it or heard of it. I damn near lost my mind. Look at the graphics! Oh my god! Yeah, I still remember losing my shit over that. And get a loot chest for killing those two bosses? That's some kind of BS. Give me monies. Sweet. I got my monies. That's what I need. Needs me that loot. Holy crap. I just saw the time. Well, that concludes it for my stream. Gonna get up and eat something, maybe? No. Or I can not, I guess. Somebody just said, "Oh boy, Trash Panda, you're in a war." That's right. It's not just all garbage can looting for this guy. Sometimes there's serious work. Yeah, it is late. I mean, I'm probably going to stream for a little while longer, but I do need to friggin' eat something, because I've not eaten all day. I like that term, Trash Panda. This looks like a safe place as any to log out. Well, man, it was good hanging out with you. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, like I said, I checked out your channel a few times just to see if you're around, but I never got any notifications or anything.
Hey.
So I'll have to check that out before I go to bed. No, this game is it's the hardest mode that I can get. What they call it, legendary or whatever. You can't really make it any harder than it is. Damn, I keep getting distracted. It's dinner time. I gotta fucking go. Stop, game. Stop. Completely lose track of what I'm doing, and all of a sudden I'm friggin' out fighting again. I have a problem. Yeah, man, for sure. Like I said, I'll check out why I'm not getting notifications, because, yeah, I'll enjoy a chat with you, and we'll see if I can rectify that situation.
Got a lot on my plate.
Hopefully I can. And yeah, I mean, if I'm on or whatever, feel free to stop by and say hey. And hope Canada gets where it needs to go for you. And if not, hey, there's always Detroit. Which has cooler gear than me. Alright, man. You take it easy.